Hey guys, Raya here. Every year for my husband's birthday, I make him a chocolate trifle. But this year I felt like doing something different, and I decided to make him a 2-tiered chocolate cake. Watch as I give it a try. I started by prepping some cake pans. I cut parchment paper to fit the bottom and sprayed cooking spray and laid the circle in. It's important to use parchment paper so the cake doesn't stick. Here are the ingredients for the cake. This recipe used a combination of weight measurements and volume measurements. The first step was to make the chocolate liquid to mix in later. I used dark cocoa powder to make a rich chocolate cake and mixed it with warm water. Then I mixed together the dry ingredients: flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. In a stand mixer, I creamed butter, then added sugar and mixed them together. Once that reached the right texture, I beat in the eggs, one at a time. After that, I alternated mixing in small portions of the dry ingredients and the chocolate liquid. Once it was all mixed together, I poured the cake batter into the prepped pans. I leveled them out a bit and then put them into bake. The cakes turned out great. Once they were fully cooled, I took them out of the pans. I took the leveling tool and cut the tops off each cake to make them even and easier to work with. My circles weren't perfect, and I should have redone some, which was evident in how some of the edges stuck a bit to the cake pans. Then it was time to make the frosting, so I creamed more butter. I mixed it with powdered sugar, once that was all blended together, I added in the hazelnut spread and combined. I prepped a few piping bags with the frosting and got to work. I put a thick layer in between the two cake layers, then covered the whole thing. I followed the same process on the smaller cakes as well, and used some of the frosting as glue for the chunk that came off earlier. The first layer of frosting was just a crumb coat to make it easier to do nice frosting later, so it didn't need to be pretty, just even. I let the cakes chill for a couple hours so the frosting was hard, then did another pass on frosting, and used hot water on the offset spatula to get a nice smooth finish. I could have spent a ton more time to get an even smoother result, but I was satisfied with this. Then it came time to decorate. I chopped up dark chocolate into small pieces and put it on the stove with butter to make a chocolate glaze. I unwrapped Ferrero Rochers and chopped up some chocolate hazelnut bars to use as toppers. Once the glaze had cooled enough to touch, I put it in a piping bag and drizzled it all over the cake, making sure to get it to the edge for a dripping effect. The shake to even it out was so satisfying. I ended up having to make a second batch of glaze since it cooled enough to be a bit thick in the end. My camera had an issue, so I didn't record much of me making these frosting circles. I didn't make them very beautiful, but it was okay since I planned to top them with the chocolates. I made smaller frosting circles on top and then topped them with the chopped chocolate bars. Overall, I was really proud of the results. This cake turned out just like I pictured, and while my technique can be improved, the final results were great in my opinion. The whole thing ended up really pretty, and it was really rich, but so tasty. This was a time commitment, but it was so worth it in the end. The layers turned out beautifully. Thanks for watching!